The vast chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with an undercurrent of excitement and apprehension. Hundreds of representatives from across the known universe gathered in concentric rings, their forms as diverse as the stars themselves. Some floated serenely in anti-gravity fields, others pulsed with bioluminescence, while still others appeared as shimmering holograms. At the center of it all stood High Counselor Zixara, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate crystalline structure. Her voice, a melodious blend of harmonics, called for order. The chamber fell silent, save for the occasional rustle of an appendage or the soft whir of translation devices. Esteemed colleagues, Zixara's voice resonated. Today marks a historic moment. After centuries of observation and debate, we welcome a new species into our ranks. I present to you the humans of Earth. A murmur rippled through the assembly as a lone figure stepped forward. Ambassador Sarah Chen, her human form looking deceptively fragile among the alien delegates, stood tall and proud. Her eyes, dark and determined, scanned the chamber, taking in the myriad life forms that would now be her peers. Greetings, members of the Galactic Council. Chen's voice rang out, clear and confident. On behalf of humanity, I thank you for this honor. We come in peace, eager to learn and contribute to this grand tapestry of galactic civilization. The Vextheri representative, a mass of writhing tentacles and glowing nodes, undulated forward. Welcome, humans. We have watched your species with great interest. Your resilience in the face of adversity is remarkable. Yet we must address the Vorpak in the room. Your history is stained with conflict, warfare on a scale that many here find disturbing. Chen nodded solemnly. We do not hide from our past, Honorable Vextheri. Yes, humanity has known war. We have struggled, fought, and bled. But it is through these trials that we have learned the true value of peace. Our history has taught us not just how to fight, but why to avoid fighting whenever possible. The Jora Collective, a hive mind of crystalline beings, chimed in with a chorus of harmonic tones. We have observed your United Nations, your peacekeeping efforts. Yet you maintain military forces. How do you reconcile this contradiction? Preparation is not provocation, Chen replied. We maintain our strength not to wage war, but to preserve peace. In our history, we've learned that sometimes the strong must stand to protect the weak. We hope to never use our military might, but we stand ready to defend not just ourselves, but any in this galaxy who may need protection. The chamber buzzed with mixed reactions. Some delegates nodded in approval, while others recoiled at the very notion of military force. High Counselor Zixara raised a tendril of energy, silencing the room. Ambassador Chen, your words are noted. Humanity's admission to the Council has been contentious. Many fear your species' capacity for violence. Yet, an equal number admire your adaptability and determination. You stand at a crossroads. Will you be the warriors some fear, or the peacekeepers you aspire to be? Chen's gaze never wavered. We aim to be both, and neither, High Counselor. We will be guardians, peaceful when possible, formidable when necessary. We do not seek war, but neither will we shy from protecting those who cannot protect themselves. As the debate raged on, a commotion at the chamber's entrance drew all attention. A Kinta scout, his feathers ruffled and eyes wide with panic, burst into the room. High Counselor, esteemed council, we bring grave news from the Outer Rim. Zixara's crystalline form pulsed with concern. Speak, Scout. What news do you bring? The Xinta's voice trembled. The Jackal Empire, they'd gone mad. They've launched simultaneous attacks on 3 peaceful worlds in the Orion Spur. Millions are already dead or enslaved. They say this is just the beginning. Chaos erupted in the chamber. Species that hadn't known conflict in millennia found themselves facing an unthinkable reality. War had come to their peaceful galaxy. As the pandemonium grew, Ambassador Chen stood silent, her mind racing. She knew that this moment would define humanity's place in the galactic community. The peace-loving races of the Council were unprepared for war, their defenses neglected over eons of tranquility. But humans knew war. Chen stepped forward, her voice cutting through the panic. High Counselor, esteemed members of the Council, Earth stands ready to help. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the will to face this threat. Allow us to prove our worth not through words but actions. The chamber fell silent, all eyes turning to the human ambassador. High Counselor Zixara's voice was solemn. Ambassador Chen, do you realize what you're proposing? You would have your species, newcomers to our galactic family, stand at the forefront of a conflict that could engulf the entire galaxy. Chen's reply was firm. We do not propose this lightly, High Counselor. But as I said, we stand ready to be guardians. The jackal must be stopped, and we have the means to do so. We ask only for the Council's trust and cooperation. As the weight of the moment settled over the assembly, many realized that the very qualities they had feared in humanity, their history of warfare, their military readiness, might be the galaxy's salvation. The peace-loving races of the Council faced a choice: embrace the warrior race they had just admitted to their ranks, or face annihilation at the hands of the jackal. High Counselor Zixara's voice rang out. The Council will deliberate on this matter immediately. Ambassador Chen, please prepare a detailed proposal for Earth's intervention. May the stars grant us wisdom in these dark times. As Chen left the chamber, she knew that humanity's trial by fire had just begun. The galaxy was about to witness why humans were both respected and feared across the cosmos. The jackal had awoken a sleeping giant, and the human race was ready to remind the universe why they had survived their own violent history. The galactic stage was set, and humanity was ready to prove that when humans go to war, they don't stop until the job is done. The Galactic Council's emergency session stretched into its third rotation. Holograms flickered as representatives from distant worlds joined the heated debate. The jackal threat loomed large, a shadow stretching across the stars, threatening to extinguish the light of civilizations that had known only peace for millennia. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of the storm, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the frantic energy surrounding her. She had spent the last several hours outlining Earth's proposed response to the jackal aggression, and now she waited as the Council deliberated. High Counselor Zixara's crystalline form pulsed with a mix of colors, reflecting the turmoil of the decision before them. Ambassador Chen, we have reviewed your proposal. The level of military mobilization you suggest is unprecedented in our history. Many on this Council fear that by embracing such measures, we become no better than the jackal themselves. Chen's response was measured but firm. With respect, High Counselor, there is a fundamental difference. The jackal wage war for conquest and subjugation. What we propose is a defensive action, aimed at protecting innocent lives and preserving the peace this Council has maintained for so long. The Vex Theory representative undulated forward, its tentacles twisting in agitation. But your methods, human. The weapons you describe, the tactics you propose, they are designed to destroy, to kill. How can we sanction such violence, even in the name of peace? Because sometimes, Chen replied, her voice carrying a weight beyond her years, the only way to stop violence is with the credible threat of greater force. The jackal understand strength. They must be shown that their aggression will be met with unwavering resistance. As the debate raged on, reports continued to flood in from the front lines. The jackal advance was relentless, their war machines laying waste to worlds that had known only tranquility for generations. Civilizations that had devoted themselves to art, science, and philosophical pursuits found themselves helpless in the face of an enemy driven by conquest. It was the Jora collective that finally broke the deadlock. Their crystalline forms resonated in harmony as they addressed the Council. We have analyzed the human proposal. While the methods are indeed alien to our sensibilities, we cannot deny their potential effectiveness. More importantly, we have run simulations on the likely outcomes should we choose inaction. The results are unacceptable. A hush fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. High Counselor Zixera's voice was heavy as she spoke. Then it seems we have no choice. Ambassador Chen, the Galactic Council hereby authorizes Earth to lead the response against the Jackal aggression. May the stars forgive us for what must be done. As the council session adjourned, Chen wasted no time. She activated her quantum communicator, linking directly to Earth's United Defense Command. General Zhao, it's time. Operation Cosmic Shield is a go. Deploy the fleet. Across 3 star systems, human special forces teams, augmented with advanced stealth technology and working alongside elite alien commandos, struck simultaneously. Jackal supply depots erupted in silent explosions, communication relays went dark, and key military installations found themselves under attack from an enemy they never saw coming. The Jackal, accustomed to being the predators, suddenly found themselves prey to an enemy that struck from the shadows and disappeared just as quickly. The psychological impact was as devastating as the physical damage. Back in the council chambers, the debate had taken a new turn. The Zhora Collective, their crystalline forms resonating in harmony, addressed the assembly. We have analyzed the tactical data from recent engagements. The humans display a level of strategic and tactical adaptability that is unprecedented. They learn from each encounter, evolving their methods at a rate that defies prediction. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Xinta representative, his feathers ruffled with a mix of admiration and concern, spoke up. This adaptability is what makes them such effective defenders. Yet, I cannot help but wonder, what happens when this conflict ends? Will a species so adept at warfare be content to lay down its arms? Chen's response was immediate and passionate. Honored representatives, I understand your concerns. Humanity's history is indeed marked by conflict. But it is also a history of great strides in peace. Our adaptability extends beyond the battlefield. We have forged peace from the ashes of our greatest wars, turning enemies into allies. She paused, her gaze sweeping the chamber. Moreover, this conflict has shown us the wonders and diversity of galactic civilization. We have no desire to rule or conquer. Our greatest aspiration is to be part of this grand tapestry of species, to learn, to grow, and yes, to protect when necessary. As Chen spoke, reports began flooding in from across the galaxy. The Jackal, reeling from the precision strikes on their supply lines, had begun a massive counteroffensive. But this time, they faced an enemy prepared for their every move. On a dozen worlds, human-led forces stood ready. They had studied the Jackal, learned their tactics, and prepared countermeasures. The resulting battles were swift and decisive. Jackal forces, expecting easy victories, found themselves outmaneuvered and outfought at every turn. Admiral Rodriguez, coordinating the defense from the Thunderchild, allowed herself a moment of satisfaction as reports of victory after victory poured in. Send word to all coalition forces, she commanded. The Jackal offensive has failed. Prepare for Phase 3 of our campaign. It's time to take the fight to their home systems. As news of these developments reached the Council, the mood in the chamber shifted palpably. The fear of the Jackal threat began to give way to a new concern: the sheer, unstoppable efficiency of human warfare. The Vextheri representative, its tentacles coiling tightly, voiced what many were thinking. Ambassador Chen, your people's military prowess is undeniable. But I fear we may have unleashed something we cannot control. What assurance can you give us that humanity will not become the very threat it now protects us from? Chen's response was solemn, her words carefully chosen. I can offer you no absolute assurances, honored Vextheri. What I can tell you is this: humanity understands the responsibility that comes with power. We have seen the cost of unchecked aggression in our own history. It is a path we have no wish to walk again. She straightened, her voice ringing with conviction. We fight now not for glory or conquest, but for a future where such fighting is no longer necessary. A future where the weapons we've created can be turned to peaceful purposes, where the courage and ingenuity we've shown in war can be applied to exploration and discovery. As Chen's words echoed through the chamber, a hush fell over the assembly. The representatives of 1,000 peaceful races found themselves grappling with a profound realization. They had invited humanity into their midst seeking protection, but they had gained far more, and perhaps risked far more, than they had ever imagined. The galaxy was changing. The old order, built on millennia of peace and stagnation, was giving way to a new era. An era where humanity stood as both savior and potential destroyer, their very presence a catalyst for transformation. As the council session adjourned, Chen couldn't help but feel the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity had proven its worth as defenders of the galaxy, but at what cost? The aliens now looked at humans with a mix of awe, gratitude, and unmistakable fear. Her XO, Commander Yuki Tanaka, responded crisply. "The Jackal fleet outnumbers us 3-1, Admiral. But their formations are rigid, predictable. They're not adapting to our hit-and-run tactics." Rodriguez allowed herself a grim smile. "Good. They've never faced an enemy that fights like us. Transmit tactical updates to our alien allies. I want them to see how we do this." Across the battlefield, the coalition forces moved with a fluidity that belied the massive scale of their ships. Vessels that seemed lumbering and ungainly suddenly executed precise, coordinated movements. The Jackal, unused to such dynamic tactics, found their formations shattered time and time again. On the planet's surface, the situation was equally intense. Major Sarah Connor led a mixed unit of human marines and alien volunteers in a desperate defense of Pelennay's capital city. The Jackal ground forces, insectoid monstrosities that towered over their human opponents, advanced relentlessly. "Hold the line," Connor shouted, her voice carrying over the din of battle. "Remember your training. Use their size against them." A young Vextheri soldier, its tentacles trembling with fear, turned to Connor. "Major, there are too many. We cannot stand against such numbers." Connor's reply was cut short as a Jackal war beast burst through a nearby building. Without hesitation, she raised her pulse rifle and fired a precise burst, targeting the creature's lightly armored joints. The behemoth crashed to the ground, its legs no longer able to support its massive weight. "We stand," Connor said, turning back to the Vextheri, "because we must. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every innocent life on this planet and beyond. Now focus on your task. Remember what we taught you about exploiting their weaknesses." As the battle raged on, both in space and on the ground, the Galactic Council watched with a mixture of horror and fascination. The level of violence was beyond anything most of them had ever witnessed. Yet there was an undeniable efficiency to the human methods, a cold calculus of war that was achieving results where pacifism had failed. Ambassador Chen stood before the council, providing real-time updates on the battle's progress. "As you can see," she explained, gesturing to a holographic representation of the Pelennay system, "our forces are gradually pushing the Jackal back. We've prioritized the evacuation of civilians and the defense of key infrastructure." The Jora collective chimed in, their crystalline forms vibrating with mixed emotions. "The effectiveness of your military tactics is impressive, Ambassador. Yet the level of destruction is deeply troubling. How do you justify such loss of life?" Chen's response was measured but firm. "Every life lost is a tragedy, honored Jora. But we must weigh the cost of action against the cost of inaction. Had we not intervened, the entire population of Pelennay would have been enslaved or worse. Our goal is to end this war as quickly as possible, to minimize the overall loss of life." Back on the Thunderchild, Admiral Rodriguez was orchestrating a daring maneuver. "All ships, execute Operation Hammer and Anvil," she commanded. "Carrier groups, launch your fighter squadrons. Let's show these Jackal bastards what happens when they pick a fight with humanity." The coalition fleet moved with precision, splitting into two massive groups. One group engaged the Jackal head-on, drawing their attention and fire. The other swung around the system's outer planets, using their gravity wells to slingshot into the enemy's rear. Caught between the two forces, the Jackal fleet found itself in disarray. Human fighters, nimble craft piloted by veterans of 100 simulated battles, darted between the massive alien ships. They targeted vital systems with surgical precision, crippling Jackal vessels with minimal collateral damage. On the ground, Major Connor's forces had turned the tide. Using tactics honed in urban warfare simulations, they lured the Jackal into choke points and ambushes. The alien invaders, unused to facing prey that fought back with such ferocity, began to retreat. As the battle entered its final stages, Admiral Rodriguez opened a channel to the entire coalition fleet. All forces, this is Admiral Rodriguez. The enemy is on the run. Press the advantage, but remember our primary objective is the defense of Pelene. We are not here for vengeance or conquest. Show mercy to those who surrender and prioritize the protection of civilian lives. The response came in 100 alien tongues, united in purpose. Understood, Admiral. For Pelene and the galaxy. In the council chambers, the mood had shifted from trepidation to cautious optimism. The Xinta representative, his feathers puffed with excitement, turned to Ambassador Chen. Your people fight with a skill and determination I have never witnessed. Tell me, is this the full extent of human military might? Chen's reply was diplomatic but carried a hint of steel. No, honored representative. This is but a fraction of what humanity can bring to bear if pushed. It is our hope that this demonstration will be enough to bring the Jackal to the negotiating table. We do not wish to unleash our full potential unless absolutely necessary. As reports of victory began to flood in from Pelene, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and apprehension. Humanity had proven its worth as defenders of the galaxy, but at what cost? The aliens now looked at humans with a new respect, tinged with fear. The balance of power in the Galactic Council had shifted irrevocably. In the skies above Pelene, as the last Jackal ships fled the system, Admiral Rodriguez allowed herself a moment of reflection. Send word to Earth, she instructed her communications officer. Pelene is secure. But the war has only just begun. The battle for Pelene was over, but its repercussions would echo across the stars. Humanity had shown the galaxy why they were both respected and feared. The Jackal had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the full consequences of their aggression. As the coalition forces began the work of securing the system and aiding the inhabitants of Pelene, one thing became clear to all who had witnessed the battle. When humans go to war, they don't stop until the job is done. And this job was nothing less than the salvation of an entire galaxy. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what this upstart species from Earth would do next. The fate of civilizations hung in the balance, and humanity was just getting started. The news of humanity's victory at Pelene spread across the galaxy like wildfire. For the first time in millennia, the Jackal advance had been not just halted, but reversed. Hope blossomed in 1,000 worlds, but with it came a growing unease. The species that had brought this hope was unlike any the galaxy had known before. In the wake of the Pelene campaign, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. The chamber hummed with a nervous energy as representatives from across known space gathered to discuss the implications of humanity's martial prowess. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center, her posture relaxed but alert. She had spent the last several cycles briefing the Council on the aftermath of Pelene and humanity's plans for the ongoing conflict. High Counselor Zixara's crystalline form pulsed with a complex array of colors as she addressed the assembly. Fellow representatives, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The human-led coalition has undeniably saved countless lives and halted the Jackal advance. Yet the methods employed have given many of us pause. Ambassador Chen, we must ask, what are humanity's long-term intentions in this conflict? Chen's response was measured, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. Our intentions remain what they have always been, High Counselor. To defend the peaceful species of this galaxy and to bring an end to Jackal aggression. We seek neither conquest nor dominion. Our goal is a return to peace, but a peace secured by strength. The Vextheri representative undulated forward, its tentacles twisting in agitation. But at what cost, Ambassador? The reports from Pelene speak of destruction on a scale unseen in galactic history. Entire ecosystems disrupted, cities laid to waste. Is this the price of your human peace? Chen's eyes flashed, a hint of steel entering her voice. With respect, honored Vextheri, the destruction you speak of was primarily the work of the Jackal. Our forces prioritized minimizing collateral damage and protecting civilian populations. Yes, there was destruction. War is inherently destructive. But I ask you to consider the alternative, a galaxy under the ruthless dominion of the Jackal. As the debate raged on, light years away, the war continued. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the HSS Thunderchild, overseeing a daring raid deep in Jackal-controlled space. The mission, to disrupt the enemy's supply lines and gather critical intelligence on their next targets. Status report, Rodriguez barked, her eyes fixed on the tactical holodisplay. Commander Tanaka responded crisply. Stealth systems functioning at optimal capacity, Admiral. The Jackal remain unaware of our presence. Strike teams are in position and awaiting your order. Rodriguez nodded, a grim smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Commence Operation Shadow Strike. Let's remind these bastards that nowhere in this galaxy is beyond our reach. Across the solar system, humanity's preparation for this moment became evident. Ships that had been disguised as freighters and research vessels revealed hidden weapon systems. Orbital platforms that other races had assumed were civilian habitats transformed into military strongholds. From Earth, Mars, and a dozen off-world colonies, a flood of volunteers poured into recruitment centers, ready to defend not just their homeworlds, but all of known space. The Galactic Council watched in awe and trepidation as the human war machine sprang into action. Ships of designs never before seen in the galaxy assembled in massive flotillas. Weapons long dormant were reactivated, and new ones were forged using a fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology freely shared by their new allies. Ambassador Chen found herself working around the clock, coordinating between Earth's military command and the various alien races now looking to humanity for protection. She stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Council's space station, watching as the combined fleet assembled. It's an impressive sight, isn't it? The voice belonged to Xarlan, a Ktinta diplomat who had become one of Chen's closest allies in the Council. Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the armada before them. Impressive, yes, but also terrifying. I never thought I'd see the day when humanity's capacity for warfare would be seen as a gift rather than a curse. Xarlan's feathers ruffled in what Chen had learned was a sign of agreement. Many on the Council still fear what this might mean for the future of our galactic society. There are whispers that once unleashed, human military might may not be so easily contained again. Those fears aren't unfounded, Chen admitted. But right now, we're the best hope this galaxy has. The Jackal need to be stopped, and we're the only ones with the knowledge and will to do it. As they spoke, a priority alert flashed across the station's holographic displays. The Jackal had launched a major offensive against the Pelene system, home to billions of sentient beings. Chen's communicator buzzed. It was General Zhao. Ambassador, we're ready. The combined fleet can deploy to Pelene within the hour. We await final authorization from the Council. Chen turned to Xarlan, her expression grim. It's time. Will the Council stand with us? Xarlan's reply was solemn. We will. May your human gods watch over us all. With a nod, Chen opened a channel to the entire fleet. Her voice, translated into 100 alien tongues, echoed across the vastness of space. Attention all forces. This is Ambassador Chen. The Galactic Council has given its authorization. Our mission is clear. We go to defend the innocent, to protect the defenseless, and to show the Jackal that their aggression will not stand. She paused, aware that her next words would be remembered for generations to come. We do not fight for glory. We do not seek conquest. We fight so that others may know peace. Remember, every ship you save, every life you protect, brings us closer to a galaxy free from the shadow of war. Good luck, and Godspeed. As the massive fleet engaged their faster-than-light drives, disappearing into the cosmic tapestry in brilliant flashes of light, Chen couldn't help but feel the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity had entered the galactic stage as peacekeepers, but they would prove their worth through war. The Jackal, in their arrogance, had assumed the galaxy was ripe for conquest. They were about to learn a harsh lesson. When humans go to war, they don't stop until the job is done. And this job was nothing less than the salvation of an entire galaxy. As the last ships vanished from view, Chen whispered a quiet prayer. The die was cast. Humanity's trial by fire had begun, and the fate of countless civilizations hung in the balance. The galaxy was about to witness why humans were both respected and feared across the cosmos. The Jackal had awoken a sleeping giant, and the human race was ready to remind the universe why they had survived their own violent history. The battle for Pelene awaited, and with it, the future of galactic civilization itself. The Pelene system blazed with the light of war. The serene beauty of its twin suns was marred by the flashes of weapons fire and the burning husks of destroyed ships. The Jackal invasion fleet, a swarm of biomechanical horrors, had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered before. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the HSS Thunderchild, the flagship of humanity's contribution to the coalition fleet. Her dark eyes scanned the tactical holodisplay, taking in the ebb and flow of the battle with practiced ease. "Status report," she barked, her voice calm despite the chaos unfolding around them. The war against the Jackal was turning in their favor, but Chen knew that the real challenge lay ahead, not just in defeating an enemy, but in proving to the galaxy, and perhaps to themselves, that humanity could be trusted with the power they wielded. As she left the council chambers, Chen's communicator buzzed with a priority message from Admiral Rodriguez. "Ambassador, Operation Endgame is ready to commence. We await final authorization." Chen took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. The final push against the Jackal was about to begin. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and humanity was at the center of it all. With a mix of determination and trepidation, she sent her reply. "Authorization granted, Admiral. May God have mercy on us all." The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what this upstart species from Earth would do next. The galaxy was about to witness the full might of humanity unleash, for better or for worse, and as always, when humans went to war, they wouldn't stop until the job was done. The Jackal home system, HFY, loomed before the assembled might of the coalition fleet. A blood-red giant star cast an ominous glow over the battlefield, its light glinting off the hulls of thousands of ships poised on the brink of what promised to be the final confrontation of this galactic war. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the HSS Thunderchild, her face a mask of grim determination. The view screens showed an armada unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Human warships alongside vessels from 100 alien races, united in purpose. "All ships, report in," Rodriguez commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. As confirmations flooded in from across the fleet, Rodriguez allowed herself a moment of reflection. The campaign to push the Jackal back to their home system had been long and costly. Worlds had burned, civilizations had teetered on the brink of extinction, and the galaxy had witnessed horrors it had thought long consigned to ancient history. But through it all, humanity had led the charge. Human ingenuity, human determination, and yes, human capacity for warfare had turned the tide. Now, they stood on the precipice of victory, or annihilation. "Admiral," Commander Tanaka's voice cut through her reverie, We're receiving a transmission from the Jackal capital world. They're requesting to parley." A ripple of surprise ran through the bridge. Rodriguez's eyes narrowed. "On screen," she ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the alien visage of the Jackal Supreme Commander. Its insectoid features were unreadable to human eyes, but its voice, translated through advanced AI, carried a note of desperation. "Humans of Earth, allies of the Galactic Council," the Jackal leader began, "we seek an end to this conflict. You have proven yourselves worthy adversaries. We offer unconditional surrender." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Rodriguez's mind raced, weighing the possibilities. Could this be a trap? Or had the Jackal truly recognized the futility of further resistance? Before she could respond, another transmission cut in. It was Ambassador Sarah Chen, broadcasting from the Galactic Council observation ship at the rear of the fleet. "Admiral Rodriguez." Chen's voice was calm but carried an undercurrent of urgency. "The Council has convened an emergency session. They're divided on how to proceed. Some advocate for accepting the surrender. Others fear it's a ruse. The decision falls to us, to humanity." Rodriguez took a deep breath, the weight of galaxies settling on her shoulders. In this moment, she knew the future of interstellar relations would be decided. Humanity's response would define them in the eyes of the galaxy for millennia to come. "Ambassador," Rodriguez replied, her voice steady, "inform the Council that we will accept the Jackal surrender, but on our terms. We'll need guarantees, disarmament protocols, and a framework for lasting peace." She paused, then added, "And tell them this. We didn't come here to annihilate a species. We came to end a threat. If we can do that without further bloodshed, so much the better." As Chen relayed the message to the Council, Rodriguez turned her attention back to the Jackal leader. "We accept your surrender," she stated firmly. "Prepare to receive our delegation. We have much to discuss." The next several cycles were a flurry of activity. Human diplomats, working alongside representatives from the Galactic Council, hammered out the terms of the Jackal surrender. Fleets were dismantled, weapon systems deactivated, and a comprehensive plan for galactic reconstruction was put into motion. Throughout it all, the galaxy watched and waited, wondering what this upstart species from Earth would do next. They had proven themselves unparalleled warriors. Would they now show themselves to be equally skilled at forging peace? As the dust settled and the immediate threat of the Jackal receded, the Galactic Council convened once more. This time, the chamber was subdued, a mix of relief and lingering apprehension palpable in the air. Ambassador Chen stood before the assembly, her posture relaxed, but her eyes alert. She knew that this moment would define humanity's place in the galactic community for generations to come. High Counselor Zixara's crystalline form pulsed with a complex array of colors as she addressed the gathering. "Representatives of the galaxy, we stand at a crossroads. The Jackal threat has been neutralized, thanks in no small part to the military might and strategic acumen of humanity. Yet this very prowess has given many among us cause for concern. Ambassador Chen, we must ask, what role does humanity see for itself in this new galactic order?" Chen's response was measured, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "Honored representatives, humanity came to this galaxy seeking friendship and cooperation. When called upon to defend against aggression, we answered. But make no mistake, our greatest desire is not for war, but for peace." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We'd propose a new role for humanity within the Galactic Council. Let us be not just warriors, but peacekeepers. Not conquerors, but protectors. We offer our strength not to dominate, but to safeguard the diversity and wonder of galactic civilization." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices, some supportive, others skeptical. The debate raged for hours, with species that had known only peace for millennia grappling with the implications of embracing a race of warriors as their defenders. In the end, it was the Vextheri representative, once one of humanity's harshest critics who tipped the balance. Its tentacles undulating slowly, it addressed the council. "We have seen the face of true aggression in the jackal," the Vextheri intoned, "and we have seen the face of tempered strength in humanity. They could have annihilated the jackal, yet they chose mercy. They could have demanded dominion over us in exchange for their protection, yet they ask only to be equals. I say we accept their offer, not in fear, but in hope." As murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber, High Counselor Zixera raised a tendril of energy, calling for order. "Then let it be so," she proclaimed. "Humanity shall stand as defenders of galactic peace, first among equals in our united community." As the council session concluded, Chen found herself surrounded by a throng of alien representatives, all eager to express their gratitude and forge new bonds of friendship. Yet even as she smiled and shook appendages of all shapes and sizes, she couldn't help but feel a twinge of apprehension. Humanity had been accepted, yes, but also set apart. They were valued for their strength, their capacity for war. It was a precarious position, balanced on the edge of admiration and fear. As she made her way out of the chamber, Chen's communicator buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Rodriguez. "It's done, Sarah. The last jackal warship has been decommissioned. We're coming home." Chen smiled, a mix of relief and determination washing over her. The war was over, but the real work was just beginning. Humanity had shown the galaxy why they were both respected and feared. Now they would need to show why they could be trusted. As she looked out at the stars, Chen knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, for better or worse. They had gone to war, and true to their nature, they hadn't stopped until the job was done. But now, a new challenge lay ahead, to prove that the same determination, the same relentless drive that made them unstoppable in war, could be turned to the cause of peace. To show that humans don't stop fighting for what's right, even when the enemies are poverty, ignorance, and the cosmic loneliness that had driven the jackal to aggression in the first place. The stars seemed to twinkle with possibility. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what this strange, terrifying, wonderful species from Earth would do next. And humanity, as always, stood ready to face whatever challenges the universe might throw their way. For when humans set their minds to a task, be it war or peace, they don't stop until the job is done. And their job now was nothing less than forging a lasting peace for an entire galaxy. The end, or perhaps just the beginning.